Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of So Recently. I'm one of your hosts, Miranda, and joined with me, as always, my other host, Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hey.
You know, Matt, you went on a little trip, and I want to hear all about it because it's on my bucket list of a place that you went to.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Mostly because I have a friend that lives over there and she's been hounding me to visit her. So it's on my list mostly for that reason.
Obligation.
But also because it is a country rich in history and art and food. And
Yes.
I love all of that stuff. So tell me where you went to recently.
Yes. So we, and by we, I mean my wife and I, Molly and I, just got back from a trip to Italy. So I think we talked about this in the last podcast, and we weren't really sure that we were going to record before your upcoming trip, which we'll surely do several episodes on because obviously you have a big event coming up in
3 days.
3 days. So
3 days.
You're going to be busy soon.
Yes.
But we wanted to talk about it because it was a lot of fun, and we were in Italy for about almost 10 days. So most of a little bit over 9 days because we were there for like a half day.
Oh, are you counting like travel days?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think it was like
I
12
got
days
you.
in total, or like a little bit closer to 12 days
Really?
for travel.
Was it that long?
Yeah, so we left, maybe I
Wow.
can't do math, but we left on Sunday evening, or it wasn't like
Okay.
late, it was like late afternoon, like early evening, and then we got back the following Wednesday. So a little bit, almost, about almost 11 days, I guess is
Wow.
maybe a bit more accurate. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and it was a really cool trip. So I can talk about it. Is there anything, I guess, right away that you wanted me to address or cover specifically?
No, I guess just take the reins. Tell me all about your trip to Italy.
Okay, cool. And so part of the reason that we did a trip to Italy is we have friends from college, Nolan specifically, who's a friend of Molly's mainly, and I would say like I'm friends through their friendship. And you've actually met Nolan before too.
Yes, I went to a gun range with him.
Yeah, one of the more like surreal, like kind of weird things that I think we reference every so often is like, oh, remember when Miranda and Nolan hung out at a shooting range?
That was
and we
fun.
brought that up to him too. But
Did he reminisce about how bad of a shot I was that day?
he
Oh
didn't
my
say
God.
he didn't say anything about it. So
I disgraced myself, I'm sure. It had been so long since I shot a gun, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the range. You want to come with?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love doing that." And I don't even know if I hit the target once.
Oh,
It was
that's the
so
worst.
bad.
That's
I was
the
like,
worst.
"Sorry, Nolan."
That's the worst. But no, he didn't say anything. He was very nice about it when we saw him. So anyway, he was getting married in Italy, and we kind of, well, we got an invite, which we weren't sure if we would get, but we got an invite, which was super great. And we were like, well, let's plan a trip around it. So, because they were getting married in Tuscany,
Mhm.
and so it was like a kind of like a weekend wedding. So the wedding itself was on a Friday, and then there was a
okay.
whole Saturday that was just kind of an open day at the venue, and then Sunday morning, and then depart. So, and I guess we got in on Thursday evening, so it was like kind of a whole little deal. But before we did that, we went to Rome. So we started the trip in Rome, and we were there for about 3 days. Right away, this is the biggest trip I've ever gone on. We have gone to Iceland before, and that was like my only other big trip, I would say, I've ever
Oh,
done.
really? Oh, and that's an episode that y'all can go listen to.
Yes.
It's called Iceland, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we were creative with the name, so you can find it. Yeah, if you can find it and figure out which one the Iceland podcast is, you might be able to see it.
Yeah, it's not the One Piece one. It's the Iceland one.
Yeah, but so that was like a 8-day trip, I think. So this is like a little bit longer, but also there was more. I mean, it's further away. There's a longer plane ride, and so I guess the start of it is we flew over and we were able to fly in the pods in the airplanes, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I need more information about that. Like,
Yeah.
how did you swing that?
So most of this whole trip we were able to cover with credit card points, at least for the initial bookings of everything. So out of pocket for like hotel expenses, I think the only thing we paid was the like city taxes that they charge you when you go places, and then we paid for the wedding venue to stay there.
Okay.
Otherwise, though, all of our hotels were credit card points, and all of our
Damn.
flights were as well, which was super cool.
How do you wait? How does Molly have that many credit card points?
Molly is, I don't know how Molly
does
does
she-
what she does.
I don't understand how she does
She's good
that.
at she just yeah occasionally is just really really good at working the system. So yeah, so we got flights over there, which was super cool, and then we paid to upgrade our flights. So we actually ended up paying out of pocket for each one to bump up, but it was an overnight flight. When we flew to Iceland, we were exhausted, just like completely exhausted because we didn't sleep at all. And so we figured it would be a little bit better this way. And it was a little bit better for sleep, but overall, like the experience of flying in the pods is super cool. I think I sent you a photo because I sent you some
Well,
photos. Did I send you the
not
photo
of
of
the
the pod?
pod.
Oh,
No, I saw it on Molly's story, and then James and I were like, "How did they swing that? What the heck?" We're a little jealous because of our long trip.
yeah.
Even the upgrade, it was like a lot of
Yeah,
money,
yours.
and there was just no way.
How much was the upgrade when you were going to do it to Japan?
Last I looked, which was it has been a few months, so it's probably gone up. It was like 6,000 per person.
Okay, ours was $700 per
See,
person.
that's yeah. I'm like
So,
that. I would be like, oh, if it was only 700. I mean, this is our honeymoon, James. I'm upgrading us, but
yeah,
it was like $6,000 or $7,000 for an upgraded
that's
seat, and I was
crazy.
like, I'm good. I'm not
Yeah.
going to sleep on the plane anyways. It's fine. Anyways,
Yeah, anyway,
continue.
so it was really nice. The one thing I'll say about pods is, as we've discussed pre-pod here, I'm a tall person, and
He
so
is.
while it was nice and much more comfortable than a normal seat, for sure, I am maybe the top like height of a person who could comfortably fit into a fully reclined pod seat. And comfortably is like me still being pretty packed in there. But it was nice. I was able to get like some actual sleep on the plane.
Nice.
And it was also fun too because they like brought all this food and it was really great. And then like I had like my whole like movie screen, so I had Harry Potter going and I was just
Heck
staying
yeah, dude.
cozy. And I was so sleepy when I got on the plane and I was like ready to sleep, but then they kept bringing out food and I woke up. So that was like the one thing that I always hate about plane rides that are long is like I'm ready to sleep early and then they keep me up for the food and then I'm not able to sleep. But other
Yep.
thing I'll say is turbulence is less fun fully reclined. It's actually a
Yeah,
lot worse.
it seems kind of wild to be like laying down and be like, oh, it's
Yeah,
bad.
it's and I think like it wasn't like a big deal, but like partway through, because I was like laid down, I was like,
Mhm.
I'm tired, and then I was like, man, there is like a wall, and that's it, and then it's just it's just air, and I was like, this isn't a comfortable
Don't
way to sleep. I was like, I shouldn't have thought about that.
don't think about the fact that you're just in a metal tube, like going super fast across the ocean.
And I was like I'm on the side of the plane too, so it's like,
Yep.
oh my god. But anyway, it was all fine. It was overall really nice, and so we actually were able to get to Rome and be a little bit more rested, but we were still pretty tired.
Well, that's good. What time was it? Like, you get in the morning?
Yeah, we got there, and I think like 10:15ish, and so we basically were able to get to our hotel, check in. That was a whole piece of drama that we don't have to go into on the pod. Not the check-in
Oh,
process, but pre-check-in, or our hotel in Rome. Basically, we thought we were at one hotel up until the Tuesday before the trip, and they were not super accommodating with getting us into another one, but they finally got us in, and the hotel that we stayed in was super nice, and they were super friendly.
okay.
So shout outs to the Hilton Garden Inn at the Rome Coliseum. So they were chill. And they were super friendly. So we went there and then we walked over to meet with some friends of ours who are also on the trip to their names are Nathan and Shelby, and Nathan is a friend of Nolan and Molly's from college. And so we didn't like strictly plan the trip together, but like we ended up like following a lot of the same itinerary, so we were kind of with them for a lot of the trip, and that was
Mhm.
really fun. It was kind of nice to just be like, oh, we're with other people. It's not just us like figuring this all out on our own,
Yeah.
especially being in like a foreign country. I think like some of the stress is like, oh, there's more people. It's not just me figuring this out.
Yeah, well, a foreign country that is mostly not like English speaking,
Yeah,
or there might be some, but no, it's Italy, so
yeah, like, and I'll say like we were able to get by with pretty much just English, right, with a couple words.
yep.
But I would say that some people had said like, oh yeah, everybody is gonna speak English, and that's like mostly true. But like, I wouldn't say they're super comfortable doing it. So it's
No, that's
harder,
something I
right?
could have told you. Like, so my friend who lives out there, she teaches English
Okay.
to Italians, and that's what she says a lot of the time is they, they understand it, but they don't want to speak it back, which is very similar to what I understand is in Japanese, where, even if they know English, they're like, oh, I don't want to embarrass myself. But, it's cool that they can at least understand you and,
Yeah, like
help.
you're very much able to travel to Italy and not speak a lick of Italian, but like I would
Right.
say that you're gonna do a little bit better if you know a little bit more. But
Yeah.
it was nice anyway to have them there for the trip. And so we met up with them, we had lunch, and then we walked over to it's the monument to Victor Emmanuel II, which is this like big massive building with all these monstrous stairs. And you walk up all these stairs, you keep walking up all these stairs, you keep walking up all these stairs, and then eventually you're at like kind of like a heightened like plaza, and then you can
Hmm.
take an elevator up to the top and you get like views of the whole city. So that was like
Okay.
what we did on our first day. We didn't have water for most of that day, so we were like cooked
Oh,
and tired and like hot,
mistake.
right? We fixed that later in the trip, but that first day we were pretty sleepy. So we like
We figured it out.
we figured it out. We had like water bottles and stuff that we brought with us, but we didn't know really where to look and everything. And we were able to find out like there's public water stations all over the place.
Mhm.
So we had like these little pack up water bottles we could fit into our pouches. So yeah, we did all that. We were pretty sleepy by the time we had walked around there, and we went and got gelato, and then we kind of wrapped up early that day. So we ended up walking back to our hotel, which the theme of the trip is that our hotels were included in points, so that was nice, but they were always a little further away. So we ended up doing a lot more walking. I think we averaged like 16 or 17,000 steps a day. That first
Nice.
day was quite a lot. I think we both like we got back to our hotel, we ate food at the hotel. We had like got like pizza, and then like I passed out at like 7:30, just like out, just completely out. And then we woke up the next day, and then that was kind of our first full day. So the second like full day we were there, we went over to the Roman Forum and the Colosseum, and so we did like a 3-hour tour of both of those places, which is super cool. The Colosseum's obviously a highlight. It's definitely worth seeing. I had a good tour. I would say like doing a tour of it's really helpful so you can actually know what you're looking at. Less so
Hmm.
the Colosseum, more so the Roman Forum, because there's like a lot of cool old buildings and like visuals that like, our tour guide is like, "Hey, this is what it used to look like. Now it looks like this," right? So that was super cool. Also, incredibly hot the whole time we're in Rome. So like the whole time we're cooking, we're dying of heat.
Hey, yeah,
and
yeah.
and that day we also went over to we got lunch after that. We went out, and that was like a really cool like hole in the wall spot, and we just found it. I mean, there's a lot of that in Italy, but we just randomly popped into a place, and it was like the most like local feeling place that we found that most of that trip.
Hmm.
And like didn't speak much English at all, and were
Yep.
able to serve us, and the food was delicious. But then, yeah, we went to like the Trevi Fountain. If you're familiar with the Trevi Fountain,
Yeah, is that the thing in Lizzie McGuire?
yeah. So I was less familiar with the Trevi Fountain, and I got a lot of
Is that
heat
what
for it.
Molly said?
I caught a lot of heat for it because I was unfamiliar with why
Look,
it was a big deal.
I pulled the Lizzie McGuire thing because I knew that's probably what Molly was thinking.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like for those of you who don't know, it's like the most iconic fountain
That's what she
I
was saying
kind
the
of
whole
think in
time.
the world.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if there's any fountain that you probably have seen pictures or people, throwing the penny behind them, it's that fountain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you don't know what it is, like Matt, I can't help you.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was, and I was shamed for it, but it was
Oh,
okay.
well, I'm sorry, but it was kind of, you kind of
I had
deserved
to come in. I mean, there's definitely a theme of everybody else in the trip doing a lot more research ahead of time, and me just like
Oh.
wanting to take in everything as I got there.
I mean, hey, I'm the same way though. I'm one of those travelers that's like, let's just go and see what happens.
Yeah, that's more how I do it too. So anyway, we had kind of walked over to that route and over in that area, and then we also like walked over to the Pantheon, and we saw the Spanish Steps. Something I thought was kind of cool with the Spanish Steps, which are just these like big steps, like pretty famous steps in Italy.
Oh, are they?
Yes, they I think are at least alluded to. I don't think they shot it there, but like in Mission Impossible 7, there's a scene where Tom Cruise is driving Haley Atwell in this tiny little car down steps. It's supposed to look like those steps, I believe.
Oh, is it? I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the only good parts of that movie, sadly. But yeah, so that one was pretty cool. I went up all the steps, and then we had dinner out there, and like pretty much every dinner reservation we made, we just canceled it and went somewhere else.
Oh, really?
Just because, yeah, like a lot of what we were like finding is like a lot of the food is similar place to place, and we were just able to find other good restaurants or other options. And honestly, like all of our meals were great. So I don't feel like we ever made a mistake canceling a reservation, which was nice.
Did you guys just cancel for like location purposes?
Location purposes, timing purposes.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we looked at we looked at the restaurant and it was like, actually, this looks a little more touristy than maybe like a local restaurant would. So we were trying to like do our like best estimates of like what's not a tourist trap and what is, right?
Good job. Good for you. And Molly was okay with that? I know.
Oh yeah, she wanted to. Like half of that was
good.
like her pitch of like, well, online it says to do this and like look for these sorts of things. So the main thing we kind of followed was like if they have like a chalk menu out in front, if they don't have photos of the food, that's a good sign, because if they have photos of the food, that's for tourists. Obviously, one thing that's very different in Italy than anywhere else I've ever been is they will like invite you in. They'll be like, oh, come on in, like, yeah, we got a table right here, what do you want to eat, blah, blah, blah. And we'll be like, nope, we're not coming in. And like it's a lot of like turning people down. And so we got very like kind of shook off the Midwest nice pretty quick, and we're just like be like, nope, just like walk right past.
That's interesting, because like I've heard the same thing about South Korea. They apparently they get really aggressive about trying to get foreigners into their restaurants so they can get their money, but you have to be like, no.
And I don't even know if those restaurants are bad per se. It was just like they were very like, hey,
oh no, they're definitely like, hey, we're like the tourists should come.
Yeah, and like
which is fine.
I had a conversation with Nathan about it where I was like, could potentially we enjoy the tourist restaurants more because we are coming into it with a tourist palette? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
But anyway, we hopefully didn't do too much of that. All the food was really great.
Hey, that's all that matters.
I know we're getting into the weeds. I would say overall food, excellent. I won't go over everything I ate, but I will say that outside of one day where I didn't have the option, I had pasta every single day.
I was going to say, for listeners, Matt had sent me like 7 photos of just pastas.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I don't know if you know this, Matt, but the photo of you on my phone for like your contact is you eating spaghetti at Epcot.
Yeah, that's a good photo too.
It's the happiest I've ever seen you, man. I've been to your wedding.
I look so happy in that photo. It's
you
hilarious.
Look so happy. So I knew as soon as I found out that you guys were going to Italy, I was like, oh, yeah, that will be fine.
It was great. And then kind of from there, the last day in Rome, the big highlight was we went over to St. Peter's Basilica, which is unbelievable, like visually stunning. I think it was built in the 15th century. It was either 15th century or 1500s, but super, super cool, kind of breathtaking building. That's just like, how did they do this, right? We didn't do the Sistine Chapel because we had heard you have to pay, and then also it's just like, we're not Catholic, so like it wasn't like we need to go to the Sistine Chapel. But we had Nathan and Shelby both went there, and they said it was really cool. But also like the other thing we had heard is it's very packed, and they said it was very packed even like early in the morning. So we just met them that day, and that was just a fun kind of wrap up day in Rome. We saw a lot of other things and just kind of walked around and experienced sights and had some really good food, and then kind of called that part of the trip over. The next part was we went over to Florence, and so we were only in Florence for half days.
Okay.
We were there for a half day on Thursday, and then we were there for a half day on Sunday, because that's kind of our pickup and drop off location for the Tuscany part of the trip.
Gotcha.
But the half days were really fun. I would say the big highlight was that we saw over in Florence, beyond just like walking around the city and experiencing like the shops and stuff, was the Statue of David. Which is... Oh yeah,
which I saw pictures. You sent me pictures of that one.
Yeah, it was super cool. I would say the Academy of Florence, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, listeners. But that's where it is. It's really cool. It's huge. The one thing that's interesting about the way like Michelangelo sculpted everything was they had like a very particular style, and our tour guide wasn't the best, unfortunately, so like some of it is less clear, but like she
Okay.
was talking about how like the women were thought of as very strong because of like all the things that they do, and so like their arms are really muscular in the
Hmm.
sculptures as well, so like they're huge. Like it's not just like wow, those are like muscular arms, it's like those are like wrestler arms.
Oh, heck yeah,
And
dude.
so it's a lot of that in a lot of the other sculptures, but then the Statue of David, the interesting thing was the hands and the feet were bigger, and I
Oh,
believe it's because it was originally sculpted to be put on top of the I don't think it's a Sistine Chapel, I think it was St. Peter's Basilica. And so he had to sculpt it bigger so like you could see the hands and see the feet from a
hmm.
distance because like the perspective would be different. But they saw it and they were like, this is obviously not going up there. Like we have to we have to have this visible for people to see.
Sorry, buddy, you did too good of a
Yeah,
job.
you did too
So,
good. And so anyway, the hands are huge, the feet are huge, but like the sculpture's unbelievable. Kind of a side story. When Molly's parents went to Italy, they saw this statue, and Molly's mom told us this story about how they sculpted it and how the marble was, in her quotes, this inferior piece of marble. And Molly and I like were howling because we're like, why would you say inferior? That's such a weird thing to say. And she's like, well, that's what they said on the tour. And so she didn't say that on this tour. And we texted her and we are
ah,
like, they just said low quality. And she's like, oh. so
that's hilarious, though.
so we're like, we can still pick on you for this. But so we did that. We also went to a lot of different like leather shops. So we kind of split that over 2 days. So we got Ernie a leather dog collar, and
Nice.
then I ended up getting a leather wallet, which I like, and some leather belts because
Cool.
they're like known for their leather. So that's super cool. And then we went over to Tuscany at the kind of halfway point of that, or nearing the end of that day. That the wedding is kind of a weird situation where it was very fun, but also kind of a weird experience as a whole because
Hmm.
our friend Nolan is in or kind of finishing up his residency, and he's now like just doing some initial work to become a doctor.
Hmm.
And almost everybody outside of us were med school kids or
Oh,
med school
really?
adjacent. And it's bizarre because like they were like all med school kids, but like med school kids whose parents were were doctors.
Oh,
So
okay.
like
Okay.
immediately wealth disparity was pretty high.
Immediately. Yep. Yep. Okay.
And so that was interesting because like I didn't really expect that going in, but like all of them, were talking about their time in med school and all this stuff. And like it's kind of still college in a way for them. Like it isn't
Yeah.
normal college, but it is still college. So like it felt like we're all just in very different places in our lives, right? So
Hmm.
that was like a weird experience overall, but we take this like shuttle bus to get up to the venue, and it's this like Tuscan villa. It's like way out remote, like an hour and a half outside of Florence in the hills.
Hmm.
And so it started Thursday night and went all the way to Sunday early morning, after early afternoon. And it was an open bar the whole time.
Oh my God.
And all of the food was covered, and all we paid was $350 a person to go.
What?
Yeah, it was
Open
ridiculous,
bar.
Miranda.
My
It
God.
was ridiculous. It was open bar Thursday night, the whole day Friday basically, and then the whole next day because we were still there.
Yep.
Bizarre, and all our food was covered, and this whole wedding was, I mean, it was beautiful, it was wonderful. We met Nolan's now wife. She
Hmm.
seemed really nice, but like very just again different life experiences. Like they did like a fireworks show at the wedding.
I saw the pictures and I was like,
It's also not like a
oh.
small little fireworks show. It was like
No,
whoa,
it didn't look that way.
we're like wow, they're shooting off a lot of fireworks. So
I saw the pictures and I was like, oh, Molly must be really
she was
excited.
excited. Yeah, she was really pumped. But yeah, so it was overall really fun. I would say that was like a highlight of the trip, but also it was kind of weird because like we're there for a wedding, so like we didn't really explore Tuscany. We were kind of at one spot,
Right.
but like Yeah, it was really cool. I've been yammering for a while. This is about the halfway point of the trip. Do you have any questions so far?
No, I'm trying to take it in as best I can. I know there's a lot to get to and cover because this was, like you said, one of the biggest trips you've been on.
Yeah.
And it's a new country. It's a lot to talk about. And you're only halfway done. Wasn't the wedding? And then didn't you come home after the wedding?
Yeah, no, so we still had more of the trip after the wedding.
Oh, heck
But
yeah. Okay.
yeah, no, I'm breezing past some of this stuff, obviously. I'm not covering everything that we did on every single day. The one thing I forgot to mention is we took a train, like a passenger train from Rome to Florence. So that was kind of fun. And then we took another train to get to our final stop, but that all worked out really well. The first train ride was super smooth. We met a nice couple from Connecticut and we were talking with them.
Cool.
And there was like a 2 hour jaunt and we were just reading and then we just got up and we were there. It was so cool. So that was nice. But anyway, sorry. So after we do Tuscany, the wedding was, great. The final day there was kind of just like a hangout and lounge day. So we were like lounging by the pool and reading our books and kind of just recovering for the rest
You
of the
were
trip.
like on a vacation. You were
Yeah,
actually like,
it was
all right,
more.
we're
It was
gonna
like the
chill.
most chill day for sure.
Cool. You need that to reset and then get back out there.
It was nice for the end of the trip for sure. And then the next day, Sunday, we went back to Florence for just again another half day. But we picked up Ernie's dog collar that we bought from the leather store.
Nice.
And then we also just walked around a lot in downtown Florence and explored some different shops. We went to the School of Leather, which we were recommended to check out, and that's where I bought my belts. Super cool, but is very expensive. So like
Yeah.
the belts themselves I bought weren't that expensive, but I thought I was going to be immediately priced out because I went in and I saw like they had like the alligator leather belts,
Oh,
like $600 a belt, and I was like, I can't do that.
that's a lot of money for a belt. But it's good quality.
Oh
so-
yeah, I mean like the stuff was really nice. They had leather coats that were like if I had a little more money, but I
Well,
don't,
yeah, but okay. Then I guess my first major or first question really would be, was there any other like experiences like a shop like that like you and Molly really wanted to go to? Like this, they were known for leather. Was there another place they were like, oh, we want to hit this place? They're known for like their glass work or
We do glasswork later in the trip.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not in Florence, but like the leather was the highlight here. And again,
Okay.
we were kind of with Nathan and Shelby, so we were also checking out other stores that they were interested in as well. We hit up a sandwich shop, and I can't remember what it's called offhand, in Florence the first day, and got these like huge freaking sandwiches. Like so Molly and I split one sandwich for like 10 euro as like this big,
my God.
which I'm momming like maybe a little bit over. It's a massive piece of focaccia with meat and tomato, and it had like a pistachio pesto on it. It was really good.
Dang.
I'm doing this all miming it for the audio
Yep.
podcast, but it's a big sandwich, guys. It was huge.
Guys, he was miming what looked to be a very gigantic and girthy sandwich.
like a 11-inch laptop or tablet dimensions, if that helps.
If
Maybe
that
bigger.
helps you, it was massive.
So yeah, so that was really good. And then yeah, I mean like we didn't have a whole lot of other like specific shops or like we have to hit this. I would say the School of Leather was like the big one that we wanted to check out, and then we ended up only buying a couple things from there. We went to a cool stationery shop. That's something where we like got like a cool like print of Florence, which was like an artistic, envisioning of Florence that we're gonna put up in our house. And then we got some like other cool like small little things there. We went to a bookstore that's a movie theater as well.
Cool.
It like kind of felt like it's like a Barnes and Noble owned thing, but like they have a movie going.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And then there's the bookstore, and then you can like just sit in there and pay for tickets to watch the movie too, which is kind of a whole weird concept because I was like, well, we're watching the movie here.
Right. We're just not sitting. We're just going to stand and like pretend to read a book, but like actually watch the movie.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. One thing I picked up while we were there at the bookstore,
What'd you get?
it's One Piece related,
Oh,
obviously.
Of course. Of
It's
course.
an Italian magazine for Sanji, who's the chef in One Piece, and then it has like it has recipes in
That's cool.
Italian, and I was like, I mean that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, you gotta get it.
so I picked it up, and I picked up a couple other things as well that I don't have on me, but so that was kind of fun. And then we had a really good dinner in Florence where we got a Florentine steak that we
Mm.
split as well as pasta. But this Florentine steak was we split it with Nathan and Shelby as well, and it was like they served it where it was I think I don't remember how big it was. It was like 1.3 kilograms or something. So it's like a big frickin' steak, right?
That's a big steak.
Yeah, and it's like a T-bone, and they carved it off the T-bone, and then had the T-bone standing like straight up. So it's like
Nice.
this big mountain of meat that they're like, here you go, and we were like, oh my god. So
Here's your mountain of meat. Have fun.
yeah, I believe the whole deal with Florentine steak is they like massage the cows in certain ways so the beef is really tender. It was very good. So I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the pasta that it came with as well because
I'm
obviously that
sure
was
you
my
did.
highlight. But yeah, so that was our last day in Florence, and then the end of the trip we went to Venice. And Venice, I think, is the highlight of the whole trip,
Yeah.
but I also think Venice was the most chaotic. So we took a train to Venice, again, from Florence. When we got to the train station in Florence, the, like, I don't know what it'd be called, but the, like, screen that shows what station to go to, it went out, like, right around, like, the time where our train was supposed to arrive.
Excellent.
So there was, like, no way to tell where any of the trains were going to be. We were, like, scrambling around looking for the train, kind of panicking, and eventually we found out like our train was late, which we had heard like sometimes the trains will just be late, just deal with it. But like we also weren't sure in that case, like, are we missing a train?
Well, also based on just stories from my friend who lives out there, the train like union or something will just randomly go on strikes. Just be like, we're not doing it. And it'll, you might have to wait like a couple hours, but then the trains will get back up. But she'll text me like, yeah, they're on strike, so I have to figure out how I'm getting home now.
That's
Like,
crazy. We so that happened to Nathan and Shelby when they went to Venice
oh,
because
really?
they were well, maybe not when they went to Venice, but when they went to Florence, where they're no, it was to Venice because they like were on the train and they're like, yeah, actually we're not bringing coffee and like breakfast snacks today
Hmm.
because we're the strike and like
We're
we
striking.
and we were like, well, that didn't happen for us, so I don't know how that happened. We were rode the train like
Yeah.
2 hours later, so maybe it's just like a quick turnaround. It felt like it was very rapid fire because we didn't even know it was happening because they mentioned it to
Yeah.
us and we're like, well, we took the train, they were on a different lines or different companies, so maybe it's like a different union there, but
I have no idea. I just
no
know
idea.
Bree's mentioned it multiple times, and she's always like, "Yeah, they're on strike again." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was it never was a problem for us. So like we were able to get to Venice, and then the big kind of first complication in Venice was first of all, Venice is unbelievable. It's like for sure the highlight of all the different cities we went to. It's just like nothing else like it, right?
Hmm.
Or at least not a lot like it, right? So we get to Venice and we are going to go do a like guided tour of Doge's Palace, which is this like famous palace in Venice where like all the leaders stayed and there's like prisons in it and all this stuff. And so we were going to go look at that. But we hopped on one of the water taxis, like the public, like the bus essentially, but it's a taxi.
Hmm.
It's like a boat and we hopped on the line that said there was only going to be so many stops, and we don't know why, but they made a stop at like every frickin' place. So we had heard it was supposed to be like a half hour to do this line, and it took us like an hour and a half. So
Oof.
first part of Venice, like we ended up missing our tour, and we were like, that sucks. We paid money for this, but also whatever. We didn't know. We couldn't have known. It's not really our fault. I'm sure there's something we misread, but like we had friends they took the same line the next day and they're like, yeah, it took us like a half hour. So I think depending on the time of day, they add certain stops. And I was like, well, that's not helpful at all. Like, how would
Or they were just like, "Oh, it's these people. We gotta really mess with them."
I don't know. Yeah. So either way, because we had to like drop off our suitcases and stuff at the hotel. But the big thing is we stayed on Murano, not in Venice. So Murano is basically kind of part of what you would consider Venice, but it's two separate islands, and they are kind of known for their glass. So
Okay.
that's where the glass comes in.
Yep.
And we did get some glass like ornaments for like Christmas, of course, because Molly is a Christmas decor fiend.
Absolutely.
And we got like a really cool like glass tree, as well as like a glass gift for my parents too.
Oh, that's
my,
nice.
My dad was like, "You don't have to get us anything. Don't, please don't get us anything." And then we're like, "Well, add them something." So
well, we're gonna get you something now.
yeah, so we got them like this like glass fish. That
Cool.
was kind of cool. I was like, this seems like vaguely Midwestern and like something my dad would like. And,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And your dad should name him Philip.
yes, yeah. I don't know if he's named him, but we saw already he's got it up on their cabinets. So that was
Fantastic.
Nice. So anyway, that was more on the second day. The first day we came back, we had lunch. Once we got back to Venice, and we kind of explored a bit. Molly and I walked around, and the only big bummer of Venice, beyond just some of our scheduling mishaps, was I had blisters by this point.
Oh, yeah.
I had no blisters all through Rome, which was great because the second day in Rome we walked 27,000 steps, and I expected I would have got them. I did not until Venice. Once we got
Dang.
to Venice, I started getting them, which sucked. But it was really fun. We walked around. We like found just like random like alleyways you could walk down, and then suddenly it's like, whoa, here's the canal. Like you're just walking, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is just a random side street canal.
That's awesome.
It's super cool, and we got really good. Like we're having gelato the whole trip, but the gelato in Venice was probably the highlight. I in Venice had 2 different types of gelato that Molly would have slapped me for if she could, because I had. You're gonna cringe at this.
Wait, okay. First off, Molly has every right to slap you. She is your wife. But
That's
also, let me hear it first. Let me see if I agree with her.
You'll agree. It's
What did you do?
I had, first of all, yogurt gelato, and it tastes like yogurt. Like it has the sourness of yogurt.
So is it just like frozen yogurt?
I liked it a lot. I don't know, maybe.
I'm
it
confused.
It was delicious.
I'm trying to figure out like, was the texture the same then?
It was like gelato. It was like normal gelato. It was very good. That was a really good one.
Well, I'm not going to slap you for that one. I'm mostly confused.
And then the other one I had, it was 2 flavors, 2 different scoops, ginger and celery.
What is celery flavor?
Exactly what you think. Have you had celery before?
I've had celery before.
It's just celery.
Did it taste like celery?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh.
I had to try it. They had this thing that said celery, and I was like, well, I've got to see what this tastes like. She was mad about that one.
No, I wouldn't be mad about that. I am a little like concerned. Like that seems like too much ginger, to be honest. Like a scoop of ginger.
It was a lot of ginger. But
it seems like a lot.
The woman who was serving it recommended if I got celery to do it with ginger, and it was. I mean,
was it refreshing? Because it sounds like that. Like the celery gelato sounds like absolutely refreshing.
Yeah, it was.
And Matt, I can't say anything. I've had what did I have in Ireland? I'm losing it. Clam. Oh, oyster ice cream.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't choose it, but it was served to me.
Similar level of interesting flavors.
Hey, man, I think it's great to try insane flavors because, like, you're not going to find that here in the States.
You'll never find celery gelato or ice cream or anything. Yeah.
No. So if I was you, I probably also would have been like, well, I've been eating gelato this whole trip. I'm going to try, like, one of those weird flavors. And I know immediately that James would do the same thing. So, nope, sorry, Molly, I'm not going to slap Matt.
Good. It was great. I actually liked both of them. I liked all of those. But yeah, so we did a lot of that. The big thing the first day we were in Venice, and this I didn't talk about this earlier, but Nathan and Shelby actually got engaged on this trip.
I saw those pictures.
And we had to kind of cover that the whole trip.
Yeah, so Nathan told Molly.
We knew about it the whole trip.
Okay.
Shelby obviously had like inklings that something might happen because I think she told her friends, and her friends were like, "You're going to Italy."
Yeah, but for a wedding.
And so we ran it that way. It's like, well, we're there for a wedding, like we're not,
Yeah, it'd be different if it was a random friend trip that we're all taking. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think we ended up covering it well enough that like she was unsure the whole time that it could be happening, like, which I think is about the best you could do.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, she probably also is like, well, I know my partner, and I mean, I don't know how long they've been together, but at a certain point you're just like, is it happening?
Yeah, I think
know.
it's been like 3 years, so it's been long enough that like
100%.
It's in the realm of expectation. But Molly did a good job kind of leading her astray, and then
good job, Molly.
actual proposal, we were able to get where they're like at the water. So like you saw the photos. They're like
Yes.
at the water. There somehow we got it where no one else is in the video or on the little like bridge that we were on.
Good. You guys did great.
We're very proud of it. It was very exciting. It was hilarious though because partway through the day, we had this reservation for dinner that we weren't actually going to. We had told
Mhm.
Shelby we were going there for dinner. We were never going there for dinner. But we were trying to get a drink together and then go do photos.
Yep.
And we were trying to like get her towards another area because her and Nathan had a separate dinner reservation elsewhere. And then partway through, she was like, what if we just got drinks over here instead? And we were like, oh my God, how are we going to make this work? Because cause she's like, I don't really want to walk 20 minutes to go get drinks from our hotel. And we're like,
When we could just go
but
here.
we're like, yeah, but we need you to not be over. Like,
Yeah, but
we
we
need
need
to
you
like
to-
sell the idea that we're going to, yeah. So
No,
she's
there's
like,
a really, really cool bar that we should go to. I swear it's worth it.
she was like, there's this bar right here that's pretty close to our reservation. And we are like, but we're not eating there. But we couldn't tell her that. So at the end of it, we're like, yeah, anyway, so like, you guys, we're actually not having dinner with you, like just FYI. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, well, I'm really excited for dinner because of all this. And we're like, no, Shelby, you're not going to the place that you thought you were going to. You're going to a different dinner venue. So she's like, oh, okay. So it was really funny.
No, Shelby, stop it. You're not.
Yeah, we're like, no, listen, it's not only that you're not having dinner with us, all of the plans you thought you had this evening were inaccurate.
That's
but
awesome.
then, yeah, so barring some other like travel complications and stuff, like it all worked out really well. The next day in Venice, it was the best day, I would say, which is also my birthday, so of course it tracks.
He's so old now.
Yeah, I'm 31 for podcast
Oh my
listeners.
God.
So
He's 31
in
years
my
old. What an old
mid-30s.
man. Hey, you know what? But James will always be older than both of us.
We did it.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a great day. The nice thing about the second day in Venice was it was rainy, and so it was a lot quieter. Like people were just inside. It was a Tuesday, so like Monday should have been busy as well, or Monday was super busy, and I thought maybe it's like the weekdays, but we were already there on the Monday, and it was packed on Monday. It was a lot quieter. It was a lot calmer. We went to Doge's Palace and explored. That was really cool. So we went back and got to see it. We also took some time going to like a bookshop that was like, it wasn't like in a building. It was like under a like connector, like a second level connecting area for two other buildings, if that makes sense. Like
Okay.
functionally under a skyway.
I was going to say like under a skyway.
Yeah, but like it was a house above it or like some sort of like, not like
Sure.
a walk-through area, right? It was super cool, and so we got to explore that. Doja's Palace was beautiful. Molly and I like hopped off one of the water taxis at one point and like walked through basically like a more residential part of Venice, and we also saw like what seemed to be a college, which I thought was cool because I was like, oh cool,
Yeah.
colleges, right? Like I work for a college, so I was like, that's fun. We saw
Always
some
find those
students.
colleges.
Yeah, we found some students like walking around chatting, and yeah, so like it was just like a relatively chill night. The one thing that was interesting is we had some complications getting back to Murano the first night, and so we wanted to make sure we we didn't have that stress the second night.
Right.
And so we got back over to Murano pretty early, and all of the restaurants were closed. We're like, what is going on? There's like nothing open. And we're like, well, we have to eat. And then we have this early morning flight. And so we ended up finding a random restaurant that was like one of the few buildings that we saw that was even open. And we had dinner, and it was like the most like standard meal. Like I had lasagna, and Molly also had
Yeah,
lasagna. I wanted to get the squid ink pasta, but Molly also told me that we had a flight in like 6 hours, and I was like, "That's a good call. Like maybe do something a little easier." So we had that, and then we had Black Forest cake. It was really good. All the food was excellent, and then we packed up because we had a early flight at 6 a.m. So we had to be up to get to the airport early because we wanted to make sure we weren't rushing, which meant that we had to take a private water taxi at 3:30, which was stressful. So we ended up getting up at like 2:30 the next day to leave.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, and the last part of the trip, I would say that was complication, was just getting home because we got a private taxi from our hotel. They coordinated it because all the public ones weren't really running that late, or so they told
Sure.
us. And we've taken one at this point already, so we were like, oh yeah, we can pay for a credit card or with a credit card, right? And they were like, yeah, credit card, that's great. We get to the airport, We take this like nice boat ride. It's like 3:30 in the morning. It's like, actually, this is kind of cool, right? Well, we get there, and then we talk to the guy who drove us over, and he's like a younger, like early 20s, like Italian dude from Venice, right? And he's like, he doesn't really speak a whole lot of English. This is like the first person who was like, oh, you don't speak like anything, right? And he kind of mimes. He's like, yeah, I like, had my card reader. Whoop, sploosh, gone. And we're like, okay, well, we already took the cab over.
And we don't have
and we don't
cash
have
on us.
we don't have cash. And he was like, oh, the ATM's right there. And we're like, okay, like, I guess. We go to the ATM. We've already withdrawn euros, and the thing was like, yeah, you're capped for euros right now. Like, we can't have you withdraw anymore. Which also,
Why?
I don't know why, because we hadn't withdrawn that much. But Molly's card,
That's a thing?
yeah, Molly's debit was like, you're good on that right now. We don't want you withdrawing more. And
What?
we're like, okay, well, now we have no access to money. So we like come back to
What?
him. Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but we couldn't withdraw. I think it was maybe just the quantity, like how much we wanted, because it was a more expensive, like late night cab over.
Sure, but
But-
like,
Yeah, debit failed us when we needed it most. So we tell the guy, and like he barely speaks English, so like I tell him, he goes, oh, like not good, like I got, and like he was like, well, let me see, and I was like, well, man, like I don't know what to tell you, right? And so
he's
we're
gonna
like,
call the mafia on you now.
we're like
man.
trying,
You
we're
gotta-
trying to figure it out because like he seems frustrated. I'm like, well, I get being frustrated, but also like we were told up until like literally 5 minutes before getting on your cab that like we could use the card,
Yeah.
and the hotel coordinated with us, right? So we're like talking to him back and forth. He's like we're doing Google Translate conversation, which I was like, oh, this, I'm glad I downloaded this app.
Yep.
So we do this Google Translate conversation. I tell him like, you should probably call our hotel because our hotel coordinated, like I'm sure they could pay you and we can pay them. And then he ends up calling the hotel. They're like arguing in Italian, and we're like, well, that's not good. And then Molly calls the hotel, and the hotel guy's like, yeah, I'm trying to tell this guy, like we already paid him. And so
Oh.
then Molly and I were like, what? Because like he didn't tell us he was paying them, so I don't know if they just initiated a payment at that point or whatever, or like when the Italian guy called him.
Well, I wonder if they're like, it's like the taxi is part of the hotel and your card was on file.
But they
so
didn't
were
say
like,
that. So
No, that's
so,
a little weird.
So no one said this, and also they told us one rate. It ended up being like 30 euro more. So like they were also just wrong. And then we like talked to the guy, and the guy's like, well, hey, I actually got it figured out. Like he's talking to me in Google Translate, right? But he's like, I've got it figured out. You can pay me here. And then Molly's just telling me like, oh, the hotel says they paid him. And I was like, oh, but the hotel says you paid. And then he's like, well, why can't you pay me? And I like typed back, I was like, well, why would I pay you again if they've already paid you? And he was like, and he was like, kind of like, okay. And like, he was like, you just go. And I was like, sorry. And he was like, no, it's a hotel guy. He's stupid. We're like, okay, cool. Like, we're off the hook. But
What the heck? Dude, it almost sounds like a scam. Like they were like, pay me twice.
yeah. And there's like a lot of scamming happening this whole trip that I didn't talk about, but like, there's so much. And so I don't know if he was trying to scam us or not, but also the hotel didn't tell us they paid it. So like it's a weird situation entirely. So that was stressful. We flew over to Amsterdam, and then we had like, I don't know, like 2 hours to wait for our next flight. Mm-hmm. So we got breakfast. We're so tired at this point. I didn't sleep at all on the first 2 hour flight. So I'm just like, okay, I'm pretty sleepy. We finally board this plane in Amsterdam, and then we're there, and he's like, the pilot's like, hey, just FYI, it's like a little bit of a delay here. We'll get going soon. And then I was like, uh-oh. And it ended up being like another half hour, and he's like, oh, sorry, like they're almost done with that, but they found another issue, so we're gonna just check that quick. And then after like an hour and 20 minutes, they're like, yeah, this plane's not the one. Like, so we're gonna see if we can get you another plane. And so at this point, Molly and I are like, oh my God, just get us home. And they did get us another plane, but like we were supposed to leave at like 10:30, and we ended up leaving at, I think, 2:30. So it's like another 4 hours.
Jesus.
And then like it's like a 9-hour flight, 9.5-hour flight.
God.
Or no, it might have been like an 8-hour flight from there, actually. So it was a little bit less, but like by this point, like I've had 2 hours of sleep in the past, I don't know how long, over
That's
20, like probably
upsetting.
like 30 hours or something. So I'm just like sitting there like, oh,
Honestly, like traveling is the worst part about traveling
yeah. I
because
think
it's the worst
we
every time.
basically determined that like the trip was wonderful. We loved it. It was great. But the next trip we want to do is going to be more local because like we're just like we can't do that sort of flight again anytime soon. Like we're like this sucked. We want to do a closer flight.
No, that's fair.
But like obviously in the future, like we will go abroad again, and it was very fun. Like the trip was wonderful. So
Oh, well, I guess I should say you're welcome. I'm pretty sure it's because of me not getting married on May 2nd
yeah,
allowed you to go on this trip, so you're welcome.
that's true. Yeah, because if you had gotten married, we wouldn't have done the trip.
Which was one of the days that was like a potential one on our list. So,
It worked out nicely that that didn't happen.
I just want to say you're welcome.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was good though. Like we definitely loved it. I would say like the food was great.
What was the best food you had? What was your favorite dish?
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention it. So, shockingly it's not pasta,
What?
but it also fits with me. Stick with
Oh,
me.
okay.
I had wanted to both you and I are fans of Brian Lagerstrom
Correct.
on YouTube. He's the best YouTube chef in my opinion.
He is the best Brian, yes.
Yeah. His food's really good.
Okay, no, he's not. He's the second best Brian, but only because there's a cat named Brian that lives down the street from me.
That's true. That's true. He is great and his food is really good. And one thing that I've always wanted to make that I never really want to make of his because it's too much hassle for just me is
Hmm.
cioppino, which is like a fish stew.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And so I for my birthday there's like a couple things that I had like wanted to have on the trip. There was pasta alla arrabbiata, which was like a spicy marinara sauce that
Yep.
My friend Andrew, had mentioned. Never found it anywhere until the first night in Venice, and it was a random stop
Really?
we popped into. So it
Huh.
was super cool that we found it there, and that was like that was like another like locals only restaurant. It felt like, and we only popped in it because like we had been walking around. I'd been having drinks with Nathan and Shelby. They got engaged, and then I was like, I need to find a restroom, and also just like I'm starving. Like let's just pick something.
Give me food.
And we happened to go into that one and found the pasta alla arrabbiata, which was really good. This next place we found on my birthday for lunch, it had fish soup, and I would say everyone else had pasta, and that was probably Molly said like her least favorite pasta was that restaurant, but the
Oh,
fish stew was wonderful. So
yeah.
it had like fish and mussels and clams, and it had like a crawfish in it, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
like the smell of fish, like that smell, but distilled into a really tasty broth. It's really hard to explain, but it was
Sounds
wonderful.
amazing.
So that was the highlight. It was like this nice warm cup, and it was like a rainy day. Oof.
Oh,
So that was my favorite meal. And then I would probably say the pasta alla arrabbiata because it was like the most basic pasta.
mm,
Like it was definitely not fresh pasta. It was like dried pasta, but I loved it. It was delicious.
okay. Okay. I'm always more curious about what people like eat on their trip and what their like highlights of food is, and it's awesome to hear that one of them is the like seafood soup
It was
because
so good.
it just sounds like that's the right thing to get in Italy
It
too.
was so freaking good. Right. Like that would be the one thing where I'm like every other pasta I was like, yeah, I love this pasta, but I also love every pasta. So like or not every
Right.
pasta, but I like pasta a lot, right? So
Yeah.
but this was the highlight for sure. And then I would say beyond that, like the sandwich was really good in Florence. And then Molly at the wedding venue for lunch got like a turkey club, and that thing was nuts. I don't know if it was just like we hadn't had normal like sandwiches in a while, but I had pasta, and that was like the only time I was like, man, I wish I got the club. Like it was so good.
Oh, I wonder if it's kind of like when James and I were in Ireland. We still think about the smash burgers that we came across in Kilkenny. It was like just smash burger was like the best thing.
Yeah, it might just be
One of the
like
best things
the
we ate.
distance from other, like you're having so much specific cuisine that having something different.
Yeah, like everything else in Ireland was great too. And just like in Italy, I'm sure everything was good. You didn't have a bad meal. It's just something about like a normal thing, like a turkey club or a smash burger sounds like it hits different.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I'm realizing this is I think our longest podcast recording. as I'm
I
looking
think
at the
so.
time.
I almost like halfway through that. Maybe we should split this into 2 parts. But you know what? It's okay. I like having a long episode here and there.
Yeah, it was fun, and I hopefully listeners you got like some good snippets of what we did. I know I kind of breezed through a lot of it, but I could talk a lot about like all the different stuff we saw, and it was all really fun. Like I hopefully we'll get to do another trip that I enjoy as much. I would say like of the trips I've gone on, I still think Iceland was the top,
Hmm.
actually. But then I would say this was great, obviously, and also
Yeah.
like Boston was really fun too. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you love Boston. I need to go there.
Boston was like debatably as fun or more fun than Italy, which is maybe blasphemous to say, but it was really fun. So
No, I think it's fine to say. And also, I will like I don't think we'll do an episode on this, but while you were in Italy, at least for part of your trip, because we seem to not be able to go, on vacations at the on separate times.
yeah,
I went on a work trip to DC, and I had some of the best like seafood soups as well. So
that's awesome. Okay,
just
we'll
wanted
talk about that at some point.
just wanted to mention that as well. So, but of course, it was around the same time you were in Italy, so
Yeah, different trips for sure.
different trips. But my upcoming trip,
That'll be a two-parter at minimum.
it's a 3-week trip.
Maybe
So
maybe three-parter.
we'll see. It depends on how many questions you have.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, hey, Matt, thanks so much for sharing like a kind of a speed run of Italy. I know there was a lot to cover, and I think you painted a pretty good picture.
Good. I tried.
You did great. I was with you the whole time.
Okay, good. It felt rambly at times, but I'm glad that you got most of it. But yeah, no, it
Nah,
was
I
a lot
got
of fun
it.
to share about it.
I mean, that's awesome. I'm really glad you guys were able to go and have some a good time, and I'm glad the wedding was amazing.
It was a really
But
beautiful wedding.
Matt, thank you so much for joining me once again on this podcast of ours. Where we
Absolutely.
talk about things that we get up to recently. Sometimes it takes us a week or two to record after those recent events, but we get there.
We did it quick this time, so
We did honestly, we did it quicker than I thought we would. So
yeah.
I think next time will be probably either my wedding and or Japan, depending on if we record next week.
Sounds good. Yeah, we will figure that out. And if it's not next week, it'll be Japan. And if it is next week, we'll do the wedding. So should be fun. So
Absolutely.
listeners, you'll see. But yeah, thanks for having me on to talk about
Absolutely.
this. So
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
bye.
Later.